Next time on Ding Dong Games. After a crazy run up, the end is near. The last gym, Victory Road, the rival battles in Elite Four, the stakes keep getting raised as things only get more and more intense. More of my mons start to faint, and before long a huge problem starts to arise. I'm actually running out of viable mons. This is getting really bad. I'm forced to rely on these low tiered unconventional mons, and can he even stand up to the Elite Four? Find out in the next episode of Ding Dong Games. Welcome back to part 3 of the super extra hard cheesy extreme Nuzlocke mode. Basically a hardcore Nuzlocke with even more extra restrictions added onto it. All gift Pokemon and static encounters will be banned, along with TM substitutes, and setup moves will be very limited in their use, a lot more so than usual, making things even harder than they usually are. In the last episode I cleared out the distortion world, only to sustain huge casualties in the final gym, and barely scraped by. With the final gym leader coming up, I need to build a new team to fight him. So after some preparations, the end game is really approaching. This gym is an issue, but the real challenge will come afterwards before the Elite Four. I have to ensure that my best bonds remain intact for the end. Remember, I've got no more overpowered gift Pokemon like Togekiss or Empoleon, and I can't just rely on them to carry me through because, well, they're banned. I've got to rely on these random encounters, many of which are not viable, so it's going to be quite tense. So what I do for the final gym leader is I create a whole new team with mons that are pretty much expendable. I know these mons won't be too useful for the champion regardless, except from Tangrowth and Breloom of course, but as they're so powerful and so good against the gym leader, I might as well bring them along. Nidoking and Donphan for example just aren't needed for the end anyways, so this team should suffice for Volkner. Even if I lose Nidoking for example, it's not going to be that big of an issue, as it's just not needed for Cynthia. So the battle begins, and here there's already a problem. The lead is Focus Sashed. Now, I can predict the full restore, or go for Ice Shard to finish it off. If I predict wrong, I'm in trouble. Sometimes the AI does use full restore when it's low HP, and other times it doesn't, so it really is a hard choice either way. But what happened was I predicted wrong. Damn. Miltank can finish it off with Earthquake, but I get hit by a critical hit. I guess it can't. This is not good. I might be in trouble. At least Nidoking can take it out. For Rotom Wash, Tangrowth can put it to sleep, then Breloom comes in and just wrecks it. The best thing is that Breloom can outspeed the Rotoms, and because it's already poisoned for Poison Heal, it can't get burned, so it really counters them pretty well. Breloom just goes on a rampage, and it can definitely beat the Luxray as Luxray is now Electric Dark, but I didn't want to take the risk as Breloom is just too important. I'm really protective of it. Tangrowth along with Nidoking can handle it, but unfortunately I had to sack Nidoking for the win, but it really is expendable at this point. Losing two unimportant mons is a decent trade-off to ensure that I can reach Victory Road in one piece with my best mons. A good strategy at certain points in the run is to purposely use Pokemon that you know aren't going to be that vital, purely to preserve your more important ones for later on. But before Victory Road, I get a Wild Love Disc, which is pretty saucy now in this game. It will see play later on. Then in Victory Road I catch a Steelix. Now I've got to get past the final stretch, and these trainers are extra tough to beat. It's very easy to lose mons here. Even with a slight level advantage, these trainers are really tough. I do like how, unlike in games like Radical Red and Nameless Fire Red, the normal trainers are also pretty significant threats, and not just the boss battles. That was a bit of a problem with some of these games. But in Renegade Platinum, the normal trainers themselves are also quite tough to handle. I remember ages ago I got swept by this bird trainer. Well, not this time. But most of the battles in Victory Road are going to be tense, and ideally you have to avoid as many of them as possible. I repeat the strategy of bringing random mons that I won't be needing later on like Dodrio to be a decoy for my other mons, and here I already start to incur losses. Dodrio gets BTFO'd. Damn. I was too scared to run high jump kick, I guess. That you really don't want to be messing with this. I then had a Tibin Nature Golduck that I got at one of the lake areas here earlier on in the run. Then I had a specially defensive Licky. I do need a special wall, and this is actually pretty good. Definitely ignore these optional trainers, they're genuinely scary, especially as they're a double battle. You don't want to tangle with them, especially not at this point. And sneak past this guy, that was fortunate. Eventually I beat the last trainer in Victory Road, but this guy's probably the hardest trainer in Victory Road as he's got dragon types. The main problem was the Dragonite in his team, as at this point my team is too beat up to counter it, and I had to take a risk. I assumed it was physical, but no, it had Hurricane, so Tangrowth is wrecked. I kinda needed that for later. It's also so dumb how this Tangrowth has max special defense, IVs and nature, and it still did pretty much nothing. Cringe. This is why you also run Focus Sash. But after that trainer, wait, Victory Road isn't over. I now have to backtrack and clear out Route 124 first? Yay, I guess. I get jumped by Marley, who was tricky to beat. As you can see here, Special Wall Licky is really nice, but I get unlucky as a critical hit manages to take out Licky, as I've got no good counter for this. Oh no, it was putting in a lot of work also, and at the end I had no choice but to sack my Donphan to the final Arcanine. Things are really getting rough. I'm really starting to bleed Pokemon left, right and centre, and it's starting to show that I'm running out of good Pokemon to use. Just need to clear out the rest of the area. It's almost there. Luckily for the rest of Victory Road, I can just battle these trainers one-on-one, as double battles with Marl are pretty scary and there's only 3 or so mandatory battles, so okay. I did lose Medicham though, but it's whatever now. I finally reached the final Dawn battle, and this time, because I've already battled her before, I know what her team is and I brought counters for the threats that she's got, and now I can easily beat her. Remember Skunk Tank from Fantina's gym? It's back baby to throw some hands. Lonely Nature with its base stat buffs make it really strong for this battle. The AI is pretty bad at playing around Sucker Punch, so max HP is better to have, especially with its buffs. This also destroys her Clefable, so it helps so much here. Breloom can come in, predict the Earthquake, then beat down Mamoswine, while restoring its sash use. It even wrecks Torterra completely as it can barely hurt it. This is going really well. And for our Lopunny, a physical dedicated wall is needed, so I brought Sandslash to replace Donphan, which is basically just a worse version of Donphan, unfortunately. And after that, the battle's pretty much over. Yes! This is it. Just one more boss battle to go and I'm ready for the final battle, and oh! I accidentally triggered an optional trainer battle, and oh god, not this shit again. And I can't counter it. I lose 2 mons to it. Complete cringe. At least I didn't need them for the champion, but yeah, that was silly on my part. Should have been more careful to avoid that. Metagross is a huge nuisance in this run. All that's left is the final rival battle, and I know what team he's using, so I can counter him well enough. I add some weird mons to the team like Swalot, but they all have a purpose. I've got a way to deal with each of his mons individually. Patchy leads the same as always against Barry, and oh, the Staraptor was Choice Scarfed. Weird. In this point in the game, I never actually knew that Choice Scarfs were even in this game, and I never knew that I myself could get access to them. Had I known that, that would have changed quite a lot, but I guess that's what happens when you don't use docks. At least I had the Focus Sash to guarantee Patches you could take a hit anyways. Weirdly enough, paralysing the Snorlax sounds really lucky, but it was actually a bad thing as Breloom cannot spore it, but luckily the Snorlax gets haxed anyways. Bird Staraptor has nothing on Rhyperior. which I really like. It's probably the only rock ground type that's sort of worth using despite its really bad defensive typing. Now against this Breloom here, there was a real risk of losing my own Breloom, as this time it went straight for Focus Palm instead of Sporing, which is what I thought it would use, and had it woken up early and got a critical hit, I would have gone down, but that is a very unlikely outcome anyways. Rhyperior counters Arcanine. Oh yeah, did I mention that this Rhyperior has Rock Head instead of Solid Rock? Oh yeah, did I mention that this has Rock Head instead of Solid Rock? That is pretty irksome, but oh well. Solid Rock is pretty nice on this. Then for the final Empoleon, I brought a super spicy special wall, Special Swalot, and this has so much sauce. Yawn Protect Leftovers dunks on so many special attack curves. Then I just win after that. Time to prepare for the Elite Four and Endgame, baby. And now that everything here is cleared, I can go all out and create a whole new team. This time I go for a sort of semi-rain team, I guess, with some added mons to counter specific threats. Pelipper is insane as it got a buff in this generation with its defenses, and has Drizzle, a great physical wall with strong attacks, and even has Roost and the ability to slow U-turn, allows it to pivot into something else. Pachirisu can take advantage of the rain with Thunder and can cover some of my weaknesses. And Weavile, this is more of a last ditch sweeper, but is brought along purely for one of the battles in particular. I believe this team should suffice for Elite Four, but there's only one way to find out. Can I complete the dingdonglocke? The time is now. Aaron is first, and he isn't too much of an issue due to my slight level advantage. Just need to look out for Drapion as that thing is a crit machine. So I play no games here. I lead off with a special wall Swallowed so it can use Yawn. This is so good as it gives you the ability to pivot into something else, and it gives me the opportunity to switch into It's back! Oh baby, it's back! I saved this from the start of the run all the way until now. For 4,000 years Gyarados has slumbered and now it's time to rise up. It even has max attack IVs. For the Elite Four, I will say, I did make a rule where I am limited to only being allowed to use Dragon Dance once. I can only go +1 to prevent any over abuse, because I know for a fact that with multiple Dragon Dances, Gyarados is pretty unfair, and even without Substitute, with multiple Dragon Dances it would just trivialise the Elite Four. So going to +1, it's still really strong, but it's by no means tier 0 broken unfair, so that's okay. Also, to prove an extra point, I banned Dragon Dance overall at the final battle altogether, just to show you the viewer that I don't need this to win, and to shut up all the doubters once and for all, the damn cucks. Damn, Gyarados, it even one-shot Drapion with +1 Earthquake. That's insane, as Drapion is pretty bulky. For this moveset, I decided to use Bounce, Waterfall and Earthquake. I used Earthquake purely for the Drapion, as one crit and Gyarados would be in big trouble. I did consider Ice Fang for the final Garchomp, but didn't think I would need it. That ended up mattering quite a bit soon. But for now, Aaron is clapped. Bertha is an interesting matchup. Breloom is theoretically amazing here, but the only issue is the sand, as I found out that I experimented earlier on whether residual damage occurs before Poison Heal recovery. It will remove your focus sash, so you need to deal with that permanent sand. Luckily, I've got a pretty good tactic for this. Breloom can put whatever her lead is to sleep, and though I can easily destroy it, I need to set up for my remaining matchups first, so I switch into Physical Wall Pelipper to get off my Drizzle, which is pretty broken how I've now got Perma Rain. and knowing that this thing probably has Thunder Punch or a really strong Stone Edge or something, I switched back into Breloom and just one-shot it easily. It's now free to go on the rampage as there's no more sand. Then Pelipper can deal with the final Dugtrio. As I had the feeling it would pull a fast one or have some weird coverage move. My instinct was right, it had Aerial Ace, so yeah. Then for the final Rhyperior, I was really anxious and I switched out into Breloom, who would have been one-shotted by a critical hit, which was most likely a misplay on my part. I was very anxious of Pelipper not being able to one-shot the Rhyperior, so in hindsight I should have just stayed in, but at least I didn't get unlucky, so overall that's pretty smooth. Flint is next, and I figured that he'd have a Sun strategy of some kind, so lead off with Pelipper and this just shuts him down completely. Safely U-turn to Gyarados to allow it to get a single Dragon Dance. Ninetales tries to postpone the inevitable, the fool, but Swallow can just wall it out, yawn it, then switch back to Gyarados so Gyarados can theoretically do whatever the hell it wants, but I remain classy and only go +1 because I'm a gentleman that way. Especially with the Perma Ray now active, nothing is taking a waterfall absolutely destroyed. But the next battle is going to be different. That's because Lucian is by far the hardest one to deal with. I know he has a Metagross, which not much can handle at all, but I do have a plan, and while it's not going to be easy to do, this might just work. I do have a very strange play and I lead off with Swalot, but I gave it the Focus Sash to ensure it can always take a hit. You'll see why shortly. Lead and use Yawn. This allows Weavile to come in, as even if Mr. Mime does attack with Psychic, it won't affect Weavile. I could potentially sweep here, but the Reflect along with the Gallade will stop me. Pelipper can easily stall out the screens and beat down a Gallade. It can even do a slow U-turn out to Swalot so it can safely use Yawn on Espeon. The Sash wasn't even needed. Predict Psychic finish, as even at this range, Power Gem won't be able to finish off Swalot, so logically the AI has to go for Psychic here. It won't really do anything else. So knowing that, I can easily switch in Weavile safely, Swords Dance once, and win. Yup. All I had to do was pivot out safely to Weavile, get a free turn, then my plan just comes to fruition. Excellent. It's time. After all this, everything that's happened, I had no idea in hindsight I would ever get this far, especially on my first try of this dingdonglocke, but I finally made it here. With these unconventional mons like Pachirisu of all things, can you believe that? Now it's time to complete the final battle of the game. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm not exactly sure what her lead will be, so I assume Breloom can handle whatever she leads off with. It does. Milotic does wake up, but I can just stall the light screen for a bit. Easy KO. Wait, she has a Staraptor? I did not know that. Pachirisu I get? But wait, ended up being Choice Scarfed, and it was a range on top of it. Oh god, I've got no good counter for this. Pachirisu has to go down here. Pelipper might have been able to take a hit, but I don't think Pelipper would have taken 2 Brave Birds, and even then a crit would have absolutely destroyed it. Staraptor's that strong. And after Weavile took a hit, I knew for sure that this thing was Choice Scarfed. Not good. Okay, at least that's down, but Lucario, I think this is probably special. Maybe? It should be. Okay, since I'm assuming it's a special attacker, I'll take a risk and switch in my special wall, and yes, I was right, it is special. Swalot can easily meme on it. Now this is where the battle goes from 0 to 100 real fast. The Garchomp, and I've got no counter for this. Because I know this thing does have Swords Dance, I've got no choice but to stay in and try to yawn it, or at the very least sack my Swalot, and this just doesn't really work out. Oh no. But at least Breloom can safely spore it. Not really, it does take a huge hit and has to switch out as well. at least I do get the sport, but I send in Gyarados and... No, I won't use Dragon Dance this time. I am past all that now. Gyarados has just ascended the need for setup. Must beat it without dancing. Though I definitely should have set up Rain, or at least brought Ice Fang. Had I done so, this would have easily handled it and two-shot the Garchomp, but no. I can't stop it in time, but oh god, Breloom can just beat it. I can easily win now, especially as I can just board the Spiritomb and just beat it. But I got overexcited. Now I should have let the Pelipper handle this, but I stayed in for some reason, just being too cocky at this point, and eventually took an unexpected Psychic and lost Breloom. Yikes. This is really, really bad. My best Mon is finally down after all this time. Oh no. But surely I can still win. Damn it, win at any cost. But the final Mon is... Oh no. I think I might be screwed here. I don't think I can stop this. This is it. This is the last Mon in my team. One Weavile with a single HP point. Can I win this? This is too tense. I did it. I won. Ah. I beat the Ding-dong-locke on my very first attempt. This was a wild experience. But at what cost? Everyone's gone except Weavile. At least her sacrifices were worth it. The run is finally over. Actually, the real run has just begun. See, all that I just did in the first two parts of the video was purely the prologue for the real Ding-dong-locke. For the post game awaits me, and this is where this unique Nuzlocke mode really kicks in now. A whole new area to explore, 7 new gym leaders, several boss fights, and a new Elite Four rematch. The best is yet to come. I say this is where the real run begins, as this is where the biggest problem arises. I am really running out of good Pokemon to use. Yes, I've still got a pretty decent quantity of Mons left in my PC, but the quality of these Mons are just not good. They aren't as powerful as the team that I had before, and it's not going to be easy to build a well-rounded team off of this, especially as I'm mostly blind for the post game. I don't know what to expect for the most part. No more Breloom and Tangrowth to carry. The real challenge begins now. Let the post game begin. I am kicking myself a bit after being careless against Cynthia. Because of that, and because of those mistakes, I've got to build a whole new team, and it just isn't the same. It's not as good, but I have to work with what I've got. I think this should be adequate. First up is the Flint Volkner double battle, and it was okay, apart from the bit where Jolteon had Grass Knot and knocked out my Rhyperior. Ouch, that's not good. I really wanted Rhyperior for future boss battles, but I'll have to go on without it. So now this island is open to explore in any order. I like how the gym leaders are all non-linear. I get a few encounters, but there aren't that many. I'm still going to lose Pokemon at a much faster rate than I am catching new ones. At this point, resource management is more important than ever. As I've only ever done post-game once before, I am mostly blind and don't remember that much, and I won't be using any docs to spoil myself. I didn't bother implementing explicit level caps, but I will try to keep all leveling within reason to prevent abuse. For the next Elite Four run, there will definitely be level caps in place anyways. My first catch here is a Tropius. This thing is actually very nice now with his pretty good stat buffs. It's actually worth using this time around. This is where the major problem of this island shows up. Even the normal trainers on this island are very threatening. This random guy had a mixed attacking hydro pump Salamence and wrecked my Steelix. I literally trained that up from scratch for nothing. Damn it. Before the first gym leader, I do catch a Weeping Bell, along with Dugtrio and Primeape. Not too useful, but I'll take whatever I can get. Now here's the first leader, the fairy type user, and I came up with a team just to handle her. Roserade can put in work, but I really started misplaying. I tried to take a risk and go for Sleep Powder on the Gardevoir, but I missed when I really should have just attacked it, but I didn't for some reason, which was just stupid on my part. Specially defensive Wigglytuff can handle it, but this Maiwile was a massive pain. Nothing on my team can safely beat it. Not even my physical defender, which didn't even do its job that well. Golduck can just take it out. The other and superior physical defender of my team, Walrein, does take out Granbull. The special wall, Tentacruel, which has a sassy nature which is really nice, can stop the special attackers, but the last Azumarill was a massive pain. I forgot to put a coverage move in my Walrein so it couldn't damage its Azumarill that much, and oh, for God's sake, stop using Full Restore. It's really annoying when the AI does that. Full Restore should just be removed in general, they're kind of cheap. Eventually Walrein goes down. I took a risk and risked my Roserade, which in hindsight was incredibly stupid as it ended up having Aqua Jet, and I seriously thought I would lose my whole team anyways, as nothing could really beat Azumarill safely. I should have stayed in with Tentacruel originally, but I messed up there as Tentacruel did end up beating it one-on-one even with its low HP. God, I played so badly in this battle and I'm really cringing over my dumb misplays in hindsight. This sucks. I lost two really good mons, which I desperately needed, but alas, I've just got to move on and just reach the end of the post game. At least the next flying type gym leader was way smoother. She has a rain flying hurricane team of sorts, but Tentacruel beats the lead Pelipper and Aerodactyl, so pretty good. Wigglytuff can switch in and beat the next Dragonite, which was a special attacking variant. In the rain, special attacking Dragonite kinda makes sense. Then, in a risky maneuver, Manectric uses Thunder to its advantage to really take advantage of that rain to beat Togekiss and Pidgeot, while Weavile can then just beat the final Tropius. Well, at least that was way better than the last one and no casualties. Each gym leader beaten is pretty rewarding as it really makes you feel like you're one step closer to finishing the post game. But, in a random trainer battle, I lost Marowak to a Belly Drum Linoon. Feels bad, man. I do catch an Arbok shortly afterwards and it doesn't have Intimidate, which is annoying. Really make sure you avoid all the trainer battles as they're just too risky to take on, but eventually I reach the next Dragon type gym leader who sounds really easy to beat with this new team that I made specifically to counter it. Loftus does go off and one it KOs his first 3 mons, nice, but I knew this Dragonite would have extreme speed. I'm now resorting to using Granbull as a physical wall. That's how desperate I'm getting in the need for physical defenders, but here it does sound very good in Fury with Intimidate and max defense, until Dragonite used Iron Tail, didn't miss, and it got a critical hit. For God's sake, that was the worst time I could have been hit by a critical hit. Weavile almost sweeps the rest, but no! Salamence has a Focus Sash? Destroying my Weavile. Oh man. I win but with 2 casualties. Just got to keep it together. I'm getting closer. Resources really are a big pain as not only do I need to reach the Elite Four again, I need to do it in good enough condition to beat the new Elite Four once again. I train up that Tropius is a new physical wall. Manus is really good. With his really big stat buffs and bold nature, its stats are really good all round. It can do a lot of strong shenanigans, so I like this thing. Next up is defensive Bibarel, which is here as a young protect user. Just getting by on whatever strategy I can scrounge up. Some of them get really jank, but it's for the next normal gym leader, and This guy was decently manageable. Statler lead. Oh, must have been scarfed or something, but Golem can handle it. Yup, this is the same exact Geodude that I used all the way back at Valley Windworks to beat Mars. Look at it now. Look! It also beats down Dodrio as Protect makes it miss high jump kick. Lel. Tropius completely walls Bibarel. Man, its stats are so good now and definitely worth using for once. Tentacruel can beat Porygon Z's. I just had a feeling it would have Ice Beam and I was right. Special walling Wigglytuff can beat Girafarig and Simple Bibarel beats the final Snorlax by literally out-cursing it with Simple, so that was pretty funny. This was another smooth battle. We're getting there. After that, I just go straight to the next Dark-type gym leader. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention that my Bibarel that I'm using is the third and final random shiny that I caught in this run. I got it a while back. Don't remember where exactly, but yeah. Tentacruel beats the lead Houndoom on the Dark Gym Leader's team. Wigglytuff beats Spiritomb. Primeape comes in and one-shots Tyranitar, though it was definitely in the critical hit range. Then Lufdisc comes in and sweeps the rest. Man, Lufdisc is so good post-game, I love it. But yikes, I lost Primeape afterwards to this random trainer. It feels bad. Yay, I catch a camera up, but no! I lost my Tropius to an optional trainer who I accidentally triggered, and he's got a Breloom that uses Rock Slide and it got a flinch and critical hit my Tropius. I took the risk and got punished. This really tilted me. Not gonna lie, as Tropius was so cool to use. I like how in other games it's really bad, but here you actually have a reason to use it, but not anymore I guess now that it's gone. Then I lost my Golem to a Medicham, which I really needed for the next poison type gym leader. That was really obnoxious. Not only have I been misplaying hard in this post game, but I also kept triggering these random trainer battles, just never leave me alone. Like yeah, I thought no meant no, but whatever. But after another grinding session, I challenged the last poison type gym leader, and this ended up being pretty good, which was relieving. Dugtrio came in handy and got 2 instant KOs, then Tentacruel can just wreck Vileplume, Bibarel can yawn the Nidoqueen so Golduck can then just come in and one-shot it. Did I mention that Golduck is now Water Psychic in this game? But once again I misplayed, which is really starting to bug me, as I switched out my Golduck from this Crobat, even though it was obvious as I could have been at 1-on-1, especially as I'm sure it was focus sashed. This led me to having to sack my camera up, which was really unfortunate. I just got that Mon as well. But at least Dugtrio can finish off the rest. Before the final gym leader this island, I make some more changes. I add a special defensive Mantine to the squad, which is undoubtedly useful, and what I do is I trade the Snorunt that I caught way earlier on in the game for a Chatot at Eterna City. Yes, I do allow for trades, and Chatot is really cool. Hugely buffed stats, and the traded Chatot is near perfect IVs and a modest nature. Awesome. With this I can beat the last gym leader Buck. Apart from Miss Calmite and Claydol, his team was really easy for me to handle. I did have to sack Dugtrio to the Claydol at this point, but by now it's not too useful anyways. At least I'm really close to the end. A few more battles to go and I'm done. This is tense as there's literally only one more new area for an encounter, so it has to be good as the encounters that I've been getting post game just are not helping me out. I need something really good to have any chance of beating the Elite Four rematch, and oh my god. At Stark Mountain I get Skarmory, which is absolutely incredible. One of the literal best mons in the game. I'll definitely be taking this and will not be risking this at all. This can stay in the PC box for now. I am not risking this at all. I need this for the very end. Hell, even as a Brave Nature, which is just extra pog. Before the end of Stark Mountain, I've got the true galactic finale. I have to beat both admins back to back, and thank god I get healed up in between them. Mars was okay, but Jupiter was literally a near wipe as I got really unlucky. I lost both Sableye and Manectric and was barely able to sweep with Chatots. Just big yikes. But at least with that I can finally finish off the Stark Mountain questline. Okay, team up with Buck and finish off this area. I really need to try avoid these trainers. I had no idea where I had to go to reach the exit, so I did this double battle, which ended up being a massive fail, as it ended up that this was in fact optional. And I almost wiped here. As you can see, we just can't handle these powerhouses and I'm just getting wrecked. Buck the Cuck was so utterly useless, he wipes really early into the battle, leaving me to deal with several mons at once. What the actual hell? I'm still in awe at how I managed to get my way out of this. The only reason I won was because the outraged Kingdra hit itself in confusion twice in a row. In a final desperate attack, Chatot one-shotted Poliwrath and the Kingdra hit itself in confusion again, letting me win. Holy cum. This was so stupid, and having such a useless teammate was really obnoxious, but to be honest, I feel so lucky to have even made it out of that battle alive in one piece. At least I'm still in this. And the best thing is that Chatot, my best mon, survived, which is great as I will need that for the final battle, so it's not over yet. So go back to Celestian Town and grind another new team. But luckily after that, when I returned to Stark Mountain, turned out that I found the exit pretty easily without having to battle any more trainers. So that battle that I had that I almost wiped to ended up being a complete waste as it was optional. It feels bad, man. That was complete avoidable tragedy, but at least I can finally access a Pokemon League again and prepare to truly end the dingdonglocke once and for all. No time to hold back, and I've got to bring my best or I'll lose for sure. You see, if I was desperate before, I'm definitely desperate now. This is literally all I've got left in my box. Not much to work with at all. Not very viable mons. I'm going to have to really brain max to make a workable team out of this, but after a lot of fury crafting I came up with something, so grind up and prepare this new team and put it to the new level cap. This is the team that I've settled on. So here's the brand new team I made just for the post game Elite Four, and it's actually pretty solid. It's probably not as good as the last team. Well, it's definitely not as good as there's no Breloom and such, but it's still putting a lot of work, and each Pokemon in this team has a pretty good role it can fulfill. The first Pokemon here is Wigglytuff, and this is max HP, max special defense, and with normal Fairy, Draining Kiss and Protect, and some decent coverage moves like Flame 4 for the first Elite Four member, it's not bad. It can definitely take a good amount of special attacks, and with leftovers and protect, it can stall out decently. It's not the most broken thing, but it's not the worst thing either. I did have to go through my PC and there's really not a whole lot to work with, so I just have to make do with what there is. The next mon in his team is the star of the show. Skarmory is just ludicrous. Brave nature, insane physical defense, amazing moves like Brave Bird, Iron Head, Counter and Roost and Leftovers, means it pretty much invalidates any physical attacker that's not boosting. It's just incredible. Against the first two Elite Four members, you will see just how insane Skarmory is. If you get this in your Nuzlocke, consider yourself lucky. It's so important. The next mon is a very underratedly good one, Mantine. It's like Skarmory for special defenders. It's got an equivalent special defense than better HP. Mantine has incredible special defense with leftovers and Roost, and good coverage moves like Surf, Air Slash and Ice Beam. It can even get things like Confuse Ray or Tailwind or U-Turn, so it's got a lot of options, and it can wall any special attack that's not electric, and it's a very good mon. It will be useful against Cynthia. The next mon is Ambipom, and I didn't really have any good physical attackers, so this is really my only option. Unfortunately it's not Technician, but it's okay. Fake Out in return and a few coverage options. It can outspeed a lot of things and hit decently hard. It's okay, probably the weakest team member here, but it's not useless. It can put in a little bit of work. The next one here is the Chatot that I got in the trade, and this is just amazing. It's got near perfect IVs and modest nature, so its stats are really good. It outspeeds pretty much everything in the Elite Four, and has insane special attack. And really good moves like Chatter, which has 90 base power now, and Hyper Voice, Heat Wave, and with Nasty Plot, it's going to one-shot pretty much everything in its path. Really good. It's a very good Nasty Plot setupper with Focus Sash. Very good and worth having. The final mon is Love Disc, and I did not know that Love Disc was this good. Water Fairy is a very good typing that allows you to counter a lot of things, and it's got pretty good offensive stats now. Its special attack is solid, not overpowered, but pretty decent, and its speed allows you to outspeed pretty much everything. It gets really good moves like Draining Kiss, Surf, Ice Beam, and Moonblast, and hits a lot of things super effectively. And for Flint especially, I will say, in hindsight, this thing is an auto win. You will see. Love Disc is literally all you need to beat Flint. Love Disc will just trivialize Flint on its own. It's that good. So, yeah, this is a team. It's a bit unorthodox and it's not fully well rounded. There are some gaps and some mons that it can't handle very well, but it's the best of what I had left on my PC, and it's probably the best functioning team I could have made, so I just have to go with what I have. So with this team assembled, it's time for the final series of battles. This is it. Let's go. Good lord, I knew Skarmory was good, but I didn't know it was this good. It almost single-handedly beat Aaron's whole team. This will be a pivotal part of the team, especially for Bertha. Such a good physical wall. Gliscor was when things really started to get tense as I was running out of PP. Wow, that was utterly wild. It started off really easily, but running out of PP just completely screwed me over at the end, and the Ambipom play was so close, definitely a critical hit range. Honestly, I should have just predicted this in advance and used PP up maxes on Skarmory to prevent this PP problem from happening in the first place. Saying PP a lot is really weird. It's fine, it's all over now, Bertha's beaten and still no casualties. I can do this now, especially as I've got a plan for Flint this time. That was really easy, Lel, but Lucian won't be nearly as easy to beat this time. I've got no good counters for his team and I've got no idea if I can even beat him, but no choice. Here goes. I mispredicted hard against the Gallade. That could have gone really badly, really quickly. Jesus Christ, that was absolutely insane. I was so close to wiping here, but literally ended up winning due to a 50-50 coin flip, and now, after all this time, all this struggle, the victories and the losses, the true final battle has finally arrived. With only 5 mons on my team, I am not in the best spots, but can I turn this around? The only way to go is forward to the final battle. Let the Nuzlocke end. Wait a second, Cynthia didn't have Togekiss last time, so I did not expect this at all. I've literally got no good way to beat this. Oh god. I don't think I can win anymore. This is awful. I'm 90% sure I've lost, but can't lose heart yet. Skarmory is broken after all and can wall out the physical attackers for days, and it's mixed. Well, the run's over. It was absolutely wild. Basically, I got screwed over at the end because of the Togekiss. I did not expect it and had no way to easily beat it or counter it. Had I literally brought a Toxic user, I would have easily stalled it out, but I didn't think of that. This team did put in a tremendous amount of work for what it was, and this was literally all I've got left in the PC. It's all over now. Honestly, I genuinely went above and beyond my own expectations. It's so crazy how these restrictions, I literally didn't expect to even get past the 3rd gym, but here I am at the very end of the post game, and having finally whited out at the very end of it. I think back to my very first Renegade Platinum Nuzlocke blind attempt that I did over a year ago, and That was so cringe to look back at. I genuinely played badly. But after receiving all the criticism from my viewers and haters alike, some of it fair and some of it pretty mean-spirited, I self-reflected and had to swallow my own pride and admit my own mistakes to improve as a result. Because of that, I went from a pretty bad Nuzlocker to a decent one. See, this is why you shouldn't be afraid of criticism, and why I myself am warranted in criticizing others, because I do the same to myself. But with that, the dingdonglocke, it's all over now. Or is it? To be concluded in the next and final part of the series. Next time on Ding Dong Games. After having my very first defeat in losing my best remaining Pokemon, this couldn't get any bleaker, and I finally have to admit defeat. But wait! With a final glimmer of hope, and barely enough remaining Pokemon in my PC to build a modicum of a team, I'm not giving up just yet. Oh no, these mons are really not good, but I have to fight with what I've got. The final scraps of the Nuzlocke. But with this last chance in these underdogs, in my final glimmer of hope against near impossible odds, can I somehow turn this around? Don't move for the exciting epic finale of the Ding Dong Locke.